There we go. I'll only do that once. That was it. All right, thank you. I want to call the meeting to order. Can someone make a motion to approve the June minutes? Second. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Board member comments. I think I'm going to start. I want to obviously thank my fellow board members for providing me with this opportunity to serve as your chair. And I want to congratulate Brent on his appointment to the vice chair position. I'm hopeful that both of us can continue to provide excellent performance as our predecessors have. I'd also like to thank Mark Kobelos for his exemplary service as chair for the past several years, navigating COVID, which was not easy. So thank you, Mark. Committee assignments, Sean will take over my role as chair of finance. Mark Kobelos will move to the audit committee, and Marty will move off of the audit committee. Those are all the changes for now. And if any board member wants to discuss their role, please see me after today's meeting. Lastly, we will be forming a search committee to help determine the next general manager. I envision 3 to 5 board members serving on that committee, and we expect work to begin in early September. If any board member is interested, please reach out to me in the coming weeks. The current timeline for selecting a new GM will be by the end of the year. That's our plan, but obviously it's a work in progress. And also, if you have any questions, please see me after the meeting and we can discuss that. That's all I have. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nice to be able to say that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think you'll be a wonderful chairman. I think you do a great job. Really, Terry, really good. You're good to step up and step into the role. So anything I can do to support you, I'm happy to do that and happy to take on the finance role. I'll try to keep up the excellence that you brought to the finance committee. But I hope everybody has a great summer. I know we're not meeting next month, so enjoy the heat as much as you can. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Terry.
Appreciate it. Mr. Moody.
Sure. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Mr. Byers?
Yes, congratulations, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to comment on the Joint Finance Water Resources Committee meeting. Kendra's presentation on PFAS as it related to wastewater treatment, I learned more about PFAS in 30 minutes than I think most people know. She just did a great job and made me feel great about what Loudon Water is doing. I think we're at the head of the pack in terms of our knowledge and our efforts to deal with this issue. And I've been reading, as soon as we have a meeting about something, I start reading about it in the newspapers and stuff. PFAS is actually really big news now.
Really
So really good to hear that Loudon Water's at the point of it, and her presentation was excellent. That's all I had.
Thank you. Ms. Sirskar, excuse me, Angeline. Thank you.
Or yes, Kendra, I really love your presentation. Once again, she always does a great job. I think it's her energy that she brings in, that enthusiasm that I see in her voice, that she's very passionate about it. And when you're passionate about something, you really get the attention of, the audience. And so thank you so much for that. Thank you all the staff and everybody that we don't see from bottom up every day that do a great job. Can to give more, thanks to and support you in any way you can there. And then Carla, when I grabbed that email, I'm gonna miss you. I miss you. It's been wonderful. You've been a manager here, but you've also been a friend as well at a personal level. So we will miss you, and I wish you all the best and towards your retirement, and I hope it will be a smooth one. I'm sure it will be. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Online, who do we have?
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Campbell. Mr. Brett, would you like to say something?
Sure. I'll just echo Bill and Angeline's comments. I enjoyed the finance and CIP committee as well and appreciated the updates on everything. So thanks for that. I was, I still try to play basketball with all the young guys out there, and I haven't sprained my ankle in 8 years. And my dad, this was Sunday afternoon, and my dad's like, "Hey, make sure you're wearing high tops. You gotta be careful out there. You never know how you come down. Dad, I'm fine. I haven't sprained my ankle in 8 years. I'm good. Sure enough, I'm coming down, playing and sprained my ankle really good. So I haven't driven a car in a week and a half, and I'm still got it up. So that's why I'm here today. But congratulations, Terry. I'm glad he's was willing to step up and be chairman. So thanks for that. I've told him that privately, but I'll say that publicly too. And happy summer, everyone.
Thank you, Brent. Is Mr. Bonfils online?
He is not currently online, sir.
Mr. Koblenz?
No, sir.
Okay, that's it for board member comments. General managers report, Carla?
Yes, thank you. So back in March, we mentioned to you that we were participating in the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program administered by the Virginia Department of Social Services. And that was a grant funding program to help people pay for their water and sewer bills. We were notified last week that the funding has been depleted for that program. It was a very successful program. The statewide program distributed over $16 million in less than 7 months, awarding relief to over 53,000 households. For Loudoun Water, we were able to help 40 customers for a total of $12,475. Indications are that there will be additional funds available for this program in the near future, so we will keep an eye on that as well. In June, staff participated as presenters and panelists for the annual Global Inheritance Leading Ladies Internship Program. This program provides selected high school students with a STEM internship opportunity during a 2-week development program to prepare them for college and for STEM-based careers. Partnering organizations such as Loudoun Water provided several educational sessions for local rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors to include interactive presentations. And so I just want to acknowledge the team effort that included staff from multiple departments, including compliance, GIS, communications, water treatment, IT, line maintenance, planning, and engineering. And programs such as these provide a platform for educating future generations and are key to growing our workforce. Hats off to our team that completed their flushing for this year. They flushed nearly 14,000 hydrants. Some statistics, ERCs through June totaled 1,250. So we are in good shape. We're about 53% of the annual projection of 2,350. And some reminders, there's no board meeting in August. The CIP committee is scheduled to meet on Wednesday, August 23rd at 8 a.m. and the Finance Committee on Thursday, August 24th, also at 8 a.m. That's all I have.
Mr. Allen, Mr. Bonfils has joined online.
Hey, Jim, do you have a board member comment? Jim, can you hear us?
He did text me because I had been texting him that he can hear us, but we can't hear him. So that may still be.
Can you hear me now?
There.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, good. I don't have a comment at this time, but thank you. The flight was a little late getting in, so I'm sitting in the lounge on the call.
Thank you, Jim. Jewel, turn that off. Jewel, do we have any members of the public signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Okay. Board committee actions. Jim, I think we're going to dispense with the CIP update. If you don't have a problem with that, everyone has that in their board packet.
And that's great because it's a lot of detail in it, and I didn't really want to read it into the record. So,
does anyone have any questions for Mr. Bonfils regarding the CIP report? Hearing none, we will move on to the Joint Finance and Water Resource Committee meeting, which was chaired by myself and by Mr. Bonfils once again. So I'll handle the finance portion of it. The main topic of the meeting was an information item surrounding Dominion Energy's request for power line easement access across Loudon Water's property. Typically, in the past, these requests have been fairly straightforward, but in this case, the requests are much larger in scale. We were briefed on two of them. The first easement is called Beco to Dulles Town Center, which is behind our property here and runs parallel to the Broad Run Creek. Most of that easement will be in the floodplain, so it's unbuildable for Loudon Water. So from what I understand, that easement has been granted or is in the process of being granted, and the Finance Committee supports the staff conclusion to grant that easement. The second easement is called the Aspen to Golden easement. This is a little bit more complicated than the first easement as it runs across our property, primarily on the northeast portion. This remains a work in progress. There's been a lot of iterations of where those power lines will go. So they continue to move, but staff is going to return to the Finance Committee with more info as discussions progress. But the Finance Committee is happy or satisfied, I should say, with the progress thus far and the way they're going about negotiating those easements. As far as the other informational items at the Finance Committee meeting, as usual, operating and non-operating revenues are above estimates. Expenses are slightly below. ERCs, as Carla mentioned, are on pace, and cash equivalents is 329 million with a weighted average yield of 2.73%. So everything looks good on the finance side. Jim, do you want to go with the Water Resource Committee meeting?
Because of the connection, why don't you go ahead and review that? It's pretty extensive on there. Maybe you can summarize it, which is what I was going to try and do. There's the team did an excellent job in providing us with additional information. And oddly enough, it was, not surprisingly, it was before it was out in the Wall Street Journal and other papers about this information. So we really appreciate our team being well ahead of the industry.
Okay, well, I'll take a stab at it since I was there. The first item that we covered was the Safe Drinking Water Act by Jessica. And that was a kind of a review of the act and the regulations surrounding that act. And then the second part was a presentation by Kendra over PFAS and the wastewater update. If anyone has any questions on that, we could go over that, or someone could ask Jessica, but that's all I have for that, if everyone doesn't mind. Most members were here. Okay. All right. Thank you. Consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Second.
All
Go
those
ahead.
in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the consent agenda has been approved. There are no action items. There's no new business. There's no information items. We got to slow down a little bit. The monthly financial summary, does anyone have any questions for Jessica, or excuse me, for Sally on that?
I don't have a question, but I think, just remind me, I just want to make sure I get the name right. So Sally was the one who is actually the key author behind the annual comprehensive financial report, right? I mean, everybody else was involved in it as well, but she's the one who puts it together and makes the final decision on, you know, if we're gonna, because the reason why I mentioned that is because I'm so happy to see an actual physical copy of the comprehensive financial report. So I just want to like take this opportunity to thank Sally and her team for, you know, putting this, because I'm in policy. I like to smell books and look at papers and that's just how I am. So it gives me an opportunity to go in and really take a look at that. So thank you everyone who is involved in this. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a big project and a lot of departments weigh in
Yeah.
on that. So,
Absolutely. Yes.
so I have all 8 of these back at my house. So if anyone wants to see previous ones. 1950. You have me beat. Okay, the finance summary looks great. If there's no other questions, the water resource monthly management report from Jessica. Does anyone have any questions about that? I noticed everything seems either in the green or the yellow in the report. Not a yellow.
Yes, I do have a note on that I wanted to bring up. So we did downgrade the groundwater status from green to yellow or normal to caution. And we did this not because there's any issue with our Loudon Water community system groundwater wells, but the region itself is experiencing a very dry season, increased air temperatures and an increasing lack of precipitation in the area. And so we downgraded it to caution, really just in precaution to the board. And also it signifies awareness to our customers as well.
So just a question on that one, just learning from me here. So I understand it when it's dry. So is a caution to our customers as well. You know, what type of cautions are we, you know, putting out there? Not to assume anything, so.
Right.
Right.
So we've updated messaging on our website. And are encouraging alternative day watering, and there's a lot of helpful tips for consumers to sort of reduce water consumption.
Okay, thank you, thanks.
Anybody else have any questions for Jessica?
Terry, I have a brief one. Do we have a sense for when our construction at Beaver Dam Reservoir Park is going to be complete enough that we can start to allow the reservoir to fill back up again?
Mr. Campbell, I can try to respond to that request. So they are a little behind schedule, but we've taken measures to regulate the water loss, any further water loss in water capture at the reservoir, so that we can be ahead of the game when they meet the appropriate milestone that the all clear is there to really begin the refill in earnest. But I think we're still a month or two away from that, roughly.
Okay, so maybe in September, maybe October at the latest, it'll be done enough that we can let the thing start to fill up.
I think that's a fair estimate at this point in time. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Would, that's a really great question, but would you do pumping out of the Goose or just let it fill naturally?
That is something that we were talking about, on the operations side, depending on water levels at the time. And, it does give us an opportunity to exercise that facility. And so we're taking that all into account. So we may very well look to do some of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Someone asked me a couple of weeks ago whether or not people could get out there and use a paddle board. Is that a stand-up paddle board? Are people allowed to do that or not necessarily?
At this point in time, or just in general?
Right now.
Right now, I'm not sure if it's completely off limits. I think it is, yeah. So we're, just the challenges of at the level it's currently at, it's a long distance out there and the water bodies are significantly smaller. So I think we've just really limited that during this period of time.
So is it kind of like if someone drove home? Wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Is it obvious that it's so low that you wouldn't want to walk out?
Correct. That's fair. It's a good ways out from the typical shore and the parking areas right now.
Because I know people go to the other side of the reservoir where you can come to the residential neighborhood and we can't. We don't control the access over there, or do we try to?
On the west side, I think Nova Parks is, supplying a presence there. It's just not as often as the eastern access points.
All right. And the reason why the reservoir is down is because we're constructing in where the water would be.
Correct. And that was when if you recall, when we rebid the project to try to obtain some more favorable bid results, we made adjustments to the bidding documents, and we, really we're looking at that as a cost savings opportunity. So they were not having to do the construction work off of barges and be in the reservoir, constructing those waterside facilities. So we know the contractor was very happy about that decision. Just coordination wise, they got a little off track and behind schedule to have been completed with the work by this point in time in the year.
So this is the bridge, I assume,
It's
and the docks.
Correct.
And the brew house.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Is there any opportunity for board members to get out there and look at it at some point in the future, or is it just such a mess that there's nothing really to see?
Part of us that would like kind of a reveal more.
Okay.
So than in the middle of construction, but that's certainly up to you.
All right. I'm fine with whatever you decide.
There-
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that report. The water and sewer agreements by Hue Tran. Does anyone have any questions? For Hue? All right. With that, that's it. There's no closed meeting, right?
No.
Okay,
We had a presentation from somebody,
no,
not today.
It was all part of the consent.
yeah,
Oh,
it's all
okay.
part of the consent agenda. Okay, with that, someone make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn. This is Jim.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Best chairman ever.
See how many board members didn't show up.
And general counsel didn't show up. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry. You didn't miss
Thanks, everyone.
anyone.
Very good.